Welcome once again to UniqueDrops.com. Ask for it by name, the weekly Discourse.
We're in the web.
He got it!
We're in the website.
He did it!
He did it. Congratulations.
I'm your host, Dan, and I'm joined by Chris.
Dan did it!
And I'm also joined by John. What's up?
Mission accomplished.
I would like to wish everyone Maganda Gabi.
What?
Bayan.
Huh?
Which means good evening, countrymen, in Tagalog.
Is that a local newsman voice you did there?
Yeah.
That was... And then he breaks right into English.
Welcome to TV Patrol.
That's so real.
Yes. Yeah.
Legit.
I've watched enough of TV Patrol. It is October, and it is Filipino American History Month in the United States.
You guys get a 31-day month.
I know.
We picked good. We picked good.
I never remember when it is. It's always now I know when it is because all the Filipinos I follow on Twitter.
Didn't the SU do something during that month too?
Probably.
They had like some banquet type stuff during that month.
Yeah, honestly, I did not know until Twitter told me.
Yeah.
So
I mean it is. So why don't we do a little bit? And we are 2/3 Filipino. And John is an ally.
Yep.
That's being
At
generous.
least-
We talked about this episode 1, where it's actually only
shit.
you're 3/4 and I'm 1/2.
That's race doesn't
That's
work
1
that
and
way.
a quarter. 1 and a quarter out of 3.
You don't get like a.
We talked
I have
about the-
26.7%, but yes,
white
yes.
people are technically the majority here. That's what we talked about. I remember.
No, it
this.
can't be, because
1.5, and then you makes 1 3/4
okay.
out of 3.
And 1 1/4 is Filipino.
That is the majority white. We are a Caucasian majority.
And even my fucking bloodline is all over the place.
Cops still pull me over before they pull over John. I love you, John.
Anyway,
honestly, though, I've probably been pulled over more than you, though.
yeah, John's actually been in some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I've not been.
Thanks for bringing it up. Anyway, so let's
moving on.
let's talk about Filipino American History Month. We'll
Sure.
highlight a notable Filipino American throughout this month. I just made up that thing. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
Throw it. Hey,
All right.
So
it's a thing now.
we'll just go over very briefly. There is a guy I'd like to bring up. His name is Larry Itliong. He is a Filipino American labor organizer in California. He was born in Pangasinan, very nice part of the Philippines. Anyway, he is known majorly for the West Coast labor movement and the strikes that they did there with all of the United Farm.
So Cesar Chavez type stuff.
Yeah, so he was actually credited with being one of the influential members of the whole Cesar Chavez.
He became
movement.
vice president of the UAF to Cesar Chavez's.
Yeah. So he is I mean one of the key members to that thing, and unfortunately he doesn't get enough credit. Granted, Cesar Chavez doesn't get enough credit as well.
I found out he was the first. I forget what they call it. He actually worked to establish the Longshoremen's Union in Seattle.
Yeah.
And he was one of their first representatives there as well.
Yeah, he worked all up and down the coast as a
Yeah.
lot of early Filipino-American immigrants did, working farms in California and Washington, as well as fisheries in Alaska.
He was part of the labor movements from the 30s through the 70s, so the man was dedicated.
An interesting note, he immigrated to the United States when he was 14. The next year, he participated in his first labor strike. So
Yeah.
one thing the Filipinos are good at is adaptation. Coming to the new land and like, oh yeah, we should have minimum wage.
Hey, look, this #1 export of the Philippines? Filipinos.
He was also known as Seven Fingers, although this Wikipedia article doesn't really say why he's called Seven Fingers. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Just run with it.
But so influential labor worker, and as we're all kind of a little bit leftist sympathetic, that that one of the early people to work hard for the working man.
Correct.
The proletariat.
Proletariat. Yes.
Socialists.
And so that is your Filipino minute. Except for the rest of this podcast,
Because I'm still here.
there's still 2 Filipinos here. God damn it.
2/3. We'll just run with it.
He
Dan.
said 1 1/4. You got
Run
1
with-
1/4.
I count
shit.
for more because I was born there, so
That's
my
true.
passport
That's
says
true.
Philippines.
That's
I
true.
can't actually become president.
This is true.
That's true.
That's the one thing I cannot do in the United States. I can never become
But you don't want to be president. You want to be a senator. You make more money.
Probably. I could become a senator.
Not if you're corrupt enough.
I thought if you
I
were.
wonder if I could become Speaker of the House, because then I would be in line, right?
Yeah, I think,
wonder.
I
I,
think you'd get skipped over, though.
I think
Yeah.
they might skip you.
And
over.
then labor secretary. Listen, I watched 24. I know how this works.
Yeah. You torture a guy,
watch
and he
Lone
tells you where the
Survivor?
nuclear weapons are.
Did
Yeah.
you watch Lone Survivor?
Yeah.
Did you watch the show that it was based on in Korea, Lone Survivor?
That's a thing?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, on Netflix they got the Korean version.
Ah.
I'm really interested in watching
I want to watch Korean versions of
It's
everything.
just a Tom Clancy book.
But every time I go into Netflix, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to start this yet.
Like, this was literally a Tom Clancy story, like, because it was a Jack Ryan story.
oh,
where
we'll get
he
to
was
Tom
the-
Clancy.
Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, you're
No, just kidding. Nobody's
Because
playing
he was
Borderlands
the.
here.
Because if I remember, he was like the
But
person who was the lone survivor, and then the entire
Yeah.
Congress got wiped out, and he had to assume the presidency.
Yeah, Jack Ryan. I know,
Yeah.
24.
Anyway.
That's Jack Bauer.
So on the Ninkstrap.com, we are gamers.
Did we ask?
Sometimes.
Did you ask
We
for it
are
by name?
Real gamers. We also ask for it by name. We've been playing some games. Let's go over some of these games. Chris, you've been playing Dragon Quest XIS. What does
Dan.
that stand for?
It's an
XIS is an RPG.
Roman
no,
numerals are
NIS.
an imperial measure, and will not have that Western bullshit in here. Just playing.
Wait, I gotta.
We're
learn.
all speaking English.
I
We
gotta
live
learn-
in a society.
I gotta learn the metric system. I'm fucked.
Yeah. I weighed 12 stone or something.
That's even more imperial.
Dragon Quest XI S on the Switch.
Yeah,
I
okay,
played
so-
6.5 hours, and I finally hit the end of the demo.
Oh,
Oh, so you haven't bought it?
I did buy it.
Oh, you
I
did.
bought it right after I hit that because I was upset that I didn't get to progress.
Did you play in 16-bit mode?
No, I haven't tried that yet.
Oh.
But I will say, Dragon Quest, I don't know why, but it's captured me like a JRPG hasn't since... I can't remember the last one, honestly.
Near Automata.
That's not a JRPG. Chrono Trigger, when I replayed it on the DS, probably. I
you look
put
like
in a lot of hours to
you
that.
look like you hurt Chris when you said that to him.
That's not a JRPG. It's an action. It's a... Listen. Okay, it's good.
I'm a
It
Google
looks
this.
good. The music is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Mhm.
It's a JRPG, so it's not like it handles anything, and it's not crazy. My son can watch it. It's not
Yeah,
so violent. So 5-year-old kid, he likes it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why is it called Dragon Quest? Is there dragons?" I was like, "I don't think so." And then we found a dragon. It blew his fucking mind.
Chris,
It was awesome.
There's dragons in
I know. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you the story.
Okay.
We were going, we fell in a dungeon, there was a dragon. He was like, "Dad, there is dragons." And I was like, "No, what?" And he was
He's playing along with this.
Ah.
John, this isn't
He can't.
John.
He can't go in front. He has to have the wonder.
Yeah.
The sense
And then now he goes, "Dad, do you know why they call it Dragon Quest?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "'Cause there's dragons." I was like,
Pretty
"You
good.
fuck yeah, there is
Damn
dragons."
right there are dragons
in
here.
Dragon Quest XI S on the Switch.
It's also called Dragon Warrior. No, it's not.
No, it's
It was when I got it free from Nintendo Power.
Sure.
Listen. What?
Did
Yeah.
you never hear about this?
Nintendo Power had when Dragon Quest first came over at Dragon Warrior. They had a giveaway for
So
for that.
you
And
basically
you got
signed-
it?
Yeah, you got the whole game for free for subscribing to Nintendo Power.
Yeah, back on the Nintendo.
It was amazing.
I didn't know. I used to have the Nintendo Power that had the Simon Belmont on the front.
That's when it was right after that because
Yeah.
when they initially started publishing Nintendo
I
Power,
wish I would have kept
it was
that.
a bi-monthly, so or every 2 months they would publish an issue, and then when they started going to monthly, that was when that offer happened. The
Yeah.
best thing about that was that the game itself came with a bunch of like strategy guide stuff,
Mhm.
so you got extra bonus stuff that wasn't included with the normal
Yeah, which
retail
is
release.
Probably impossible to beat that game as a
Yeah,
8-year-old
'cause-
without-
Right.
without
I remember
help.
very fondly a little like laminated piece of plastic that had all the spells and what level you got them at and like what they did. So you knew like where you had to get, what level wise you had to get like the heal spell or the exit spell.
Dude,
Nice.
yeah, okay. Yes, that's dope.
So
Dragon
cool.
Quest is good. If you're into JRPGs, try the demo. I mean,
It's
6
supposed-
hours.
It's supposed to be the best one. It's got the actual, it's got the orchestra music.
It's really good. Yeah, the
Yeah.
music is really good.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy if you listen to a video of it with the regular soundtrack, and you're just like, oh, that's much better.
It does the silent protagonist thing, which is a bit annoying at times, but it's fine. It's still fun. It's just a fun game.
I usually play. I'll try to get through
I
a
guess that's not
JRPG.
necessarily a JRPG thing. I mean, that's actually a very early JRPG
Right.
thing. Because I think even Dragon Warrior, you didn't have a name. You were just
You were the
Fighter.
descendant of Erdrick.
Yeah, but I think you were just called Fighter or something.
No, you
Yeah.
put your name. You put your name in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they called you.
I picked Panda. That's
That might have been
the name.
maybe Final Fantasy 1 then. 'Cause
Yeah.
One of them, they didn't really have names.
They were fighter, thief,
Yeah,
bard,
You didn't really have names.
red
so
mage, white mage, black
There's
mage.
not enough memory.
creativity, baby.
And then you upgraded them. They became ninja and whatnot.
But yeah,
Oh.
Dragon Quest.
Okay, Chris. This has gone on for too long. We're talking about Sayonara Wild Hearts again.
Oh, it's so good.
What's the arcade mode?
okay, I'll do it quickly. It's still a good game. I played through arcade mode.
Me too.
I wish that would have been the default mode to the game.
Yeah, it's.
I got through the whole thing. I actually enjoyed it more than I did when it was the stage to stage
Yes.
to stage. And I wish that would have been the default method. And then as you beat the game through arcade, they call arcade mode, had you gone back and then there would have been a high score mode, and then you get to pick levels.
Yep.
I wish they wouldn't have done that, but you should all try the game. If you're on Apple
Arcade.
Arcade, $5, give it
or
a try.
free trial right now, so you can play it for free.
Yeah, everybody should give it a shot. That's all, Dan.
Okay. Very nice and successful.
That soundtrack slaps.
Is it hot?
It's
I
so
listened to it
good.
today.
Is it
again.
lit?
Yeah.
It's really
As
good.
the kids say.
The only
Do
thing
they even say that anymore?
the only thing I will say about the soundtrack is that they do not play the song. They play all the songs,
But not in the same order as
and
the
then
game.
they play. Well, they do. They do the songs in order, and then they do the in between parts in order. So the way the album's broken up is it does all the songs.
Not on Spotify.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It doesn't start with Claire de Lune.
Because that's I'm talking about all the lyrics. The songs with lyrics it does first,
I see.
and then it does all the interstitial instrumental
Yes,
stuff at the
yes,
back end.
It does do that. True.
So I wish you could just play it in game order.
Okay, proceed, sir.
So what's Monster Sanctuary? What's this?
So that's
Monster Rancher?
we talked about this at PAX.
Me and John,
When we went to PAX.
when we went to PAX West 2019,
Yeah.
This
Saw a lot
was-
of good games there.
We
Lots.
did actually. This was a random
we
one.
talked about 30 games on our PAX
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
Ew.
Oh my god!
Somebody should listen to that.
Yeah.
How do you know I haven't?
Because
Anyway, so about Monster.
Because you don't know what monster.
Hey, this podcast isn't
Sanctuary.
about me.
so Monster
I know
Sanctuary
Ba.
was a game that we just randomly kind of walked past because it was a booth that had like 2 or 3 games that looked pretty good. Like,
Blasphemous was one of them.
Blasphemous was
Yep.
one of them. This was another, and then there was another shooter I can't remember offhand the name of. But this was the one that I liked the best. So we found out afterwards that it was an early access,
Yeah, he bought it the night.
and I
we
bought it
saw
that night. So I've dipped into it a few times. It's basically a side scroller. The movement around the game is like a Metroidvania, but the combat is a turn-based system with Pokemon. So basically you are hatching creatures. Creatures have abilities. You can level them all up. They have skill trees that are still works in progress because this is an early access game. The bottom tier is not unlocked. I got through the first boss battle in the game. I've got a group of my monsters that have pretty good synergy.
How many do you get at one time?
3 on the battlefield.
Hmm.
But you can have up to 6, I believe, in your cadre. So before the actual battle starts, it'll let you choose which ones you want to take into battle. So it's nice. It gives you the opportunity to, swap guys in and out. The other good thing is that all the monsters gain XP after every battle, so you don't have to worry about making sure that everybody is getting XP by
Right.
swapping people constantly, because that's always an annoyance with games like that. But yeah, the combat's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's cool. You get rated after every battle. based on like how much life everybody has, how many combos you do, because you're wanting to synergize the hits on the enemies and things like that. So it's a pretty good system. I'm enjoying it. And
so it's not so much a sanctuary, but a battlefield of death and destruction.
Oh yeah, you're killing
I don't
monsters.
know why they called it that.
Yeah, you take monsters into your sanctuary.
You are a bastion of safety and love for your animals.
I made it to
and then you make them fight other animals.
Also, the fact that you keep calling them monsters, I feel like that's really it's really offensive.
They picked a lot of weird words for this game.
Yeah, it's actually not
There's a big cat with a sword.
It's still fun though, right?
Oh yeah,
not a bad name actually.
Pokemon.
So the games that I've been playing actually all have a common theme. Called onboarding is not a thing people think about too many times.
Whoa.
So I bought Rebel Galaxy Outlaw because I liked the original Rebel Galaxy, even though I haven't played as much as I wanted to. And that game's first hour is kind of rough because they kind of just don't tell you a whole lot of things. Even though that there's actually one of the things I hate the most in games that a game will do is that they'll have incessant tutorials or pop-ups of stuff to do, but they won't have the pop-ups of the things that you want to do. So it's just like, I don't really need to know how to move my ship up and down. I'm playing with a controller. I'm pretty sure that I could figure that out by just pressing stuff. But I wanted to, switch targets, lock onto a certain different thing, and they kind of just don't tell you that.
Why would you need that, Dan?
Because you're fighting multiple spaceships. Yeah, Rebel Galaxy is basically
Wing Commander.
It's Wing Commander meets Western movie or Western genre. This actually I never played Everspace. So I don't know.
Privateer.
But this really leans into the Western aesthetic. The whole each of the star systems are named after Western state or region. So there's a Texas star system, there's Nevada, Montana, those kind of places. The different space stations are all Western derived, Armadillo.
I so much would have loved to have seen Montana.
Yeah.
Are they racist?
Lubbock, Texas. They don't lean into that part. But funny that you say that.
Ooh.
One of the things I do think is kind of weird about that game is I told John this like a week ago almost. Is that for a game based on Western themes and those kind of things in Western movies, there seems to be only white people, black people, and aliens in there. Not too much Hispanic people. Granted, I've only played about maybe 3 hours.
Pretty sure you've seen all you're going to see in terms of...
And there's like... It looks like there's something like 40 star systems, and I've been to like maybe 3. So, I don't know. But... yeah, there's a lot of Spanish in that game, place names and stuff like that.
Maybe you'll find the New Mexico Galaxy.
Yeah, maybe I'll find. Yeah,
maybe you'll find the San Francisco system with Chinatown in it.
I just figure it's the usual sci-fi thing where you're either.
What is your favorite term?
You're either it's the Asian apocalypse. Mm-hmm. That's the Asian Armageddon in all sci-fi things. There's no Asian people in the future.
One of my favorite tropes is how Asian people popped into the world in the 60s. Because you never saw them before that in any movies or TV. Yeah, they just weren't.
Firefly, one of the most notorious.
I don't know if I would want to see Chinese railroad workers interpreted in this kind of genre of game.
Yeah,
but outside of that, that's actually not too big of a qualm. I think there's a good loop of upgrading your spaceship, getting stuff, stealing stuff.
Is it actually a fun game?
It seems fun so far. It's more right now. I'm playing it. The reason why I want to play it is because of the aesthetic is really cool. Because you're in this ship that kind of, whenever you start it up, it boots up like it's an old computer.
Yeah.
The screens are all like this light color blue, and it looks like it's running DOS. Yeah. And then all your screens flicker to life.
That is a nice aesthetic.
There's really cool stuff. I got a hula guy on my dashboard because I bought him. I bought a little statue of a hula guy.
So it didn't just come. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't come. Yeah, I had to go buy it. I paid 200 credits for that.
You can apparently customize the entire outside of your ship in that game.
Yeah,
I did see Vinny Caravella draw dick and balls on.
I did not get to that part or get to that. So.
Well,
that seems kind of
next.
Seems kind of cool. speaking of onboarding, me and John started playing Destiny 2 this week because it's free to play.
Nerds.
Although we did buy the expansions.
Yeah, I didn't buy both of the expansions. I only bought
Shadowfall.
Shadowkeep.
Shadowkeep, yes.
But
What's
I
the
might
other one?
Forsaken.
Oh, you have to buy that one too?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been kind of up and down about this game, mostly down.
So I have to comment specifically about the intro quest in this.
Yeah.
Because you made a new character.
Yeah.
You went through it too.
Well, so this is the free to play version. So now everybody starts at 750 light, which doesn't mean anything. It's just that there's no levels anymore. You used to have to level to 30 and then you start getting light points.
Yeah.
There's no levels, but yeah, go ahead, John.
This quest, I'm almost positive, is just a rehash of the Destiny 1 quest.
Oh, really? I never played
Because
that.
I very much remember going through the Cosmodrome in Destiny 1, having
You're
that
on
same
Earth.
onboarding where you pick up a gun and you shoot a bunch of guys, and then you have to find a ship, and then they go, oh, we can come back here. Maybe I'm conflating that with when I played the 15 minutes of Destiny 2, but I'm almost positive that you had the same intro quest in Destiny 1, and they just rehashed it. I need to look that up again because
it's a funny game because with the free to play version because they've kind of stripped out like basically all the intro stuff in the game because there was like a long intro of like those initial quests. There's a whole part where you lose your gun and you're wandering around for a long time without a gun. There's a lot of slow like parts that you're not actually doing any kind of action. A lot of people actually didn't like it too much. I actually didn't like it too much either.
Didn't it start with like a siege on the city? Like,
Yeah.
and you were fleeing the city?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what I remember the intro of that game being.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like
So
Cade and them all walking through. And
yeah, so anyway, they stripped out a lot of that stuff. And so a lot of the original story content is now as a legacy thing where you have to go to it you have to do it like almost like a side mission.
You have to go talk to a
I
random
kind of
person.
understand what they're doing is because they're trying to make it so that it's a living like thing, so things have already happened. So, if you start off just now, a lot of stuff has already happened and has already like that's done. Like you can replay that stuff as kind of like a memory almost, but like that stuff is done. You're already here because there's certain things that have happened in the storyline that like I don't think we can even experience at this point. Like certain things during the season. But regardless of that, it's like it's got that loot shooter, that schluter kind of a loop, and it's kind of cool.
It plays so much better on.
I know.
on
Yeah.
PC.
Okay. So yeah, this is a huge. This is a huge notch in that like it's just so much better to play a first person shooter on a PC unless like I don't know, like I guess you could still do it. Like Titanfall 2 was good on a controller. But like this game is like remarkably better on a mouse and keyboard because it's just really snappy and fast and everything just seems really fast, and you're also running at 60 frames.
I remember
you can't
like
run 60 frames on a PlayStation or Xbox. I think.
I remember the first game being very good on the Xbox One that I played. Like the shooting was good in that game, but this is just it's so much better to be able to have that level of precision on the enemies because especially in this game, I know it reminded me the little we played is that the enemies are very herky jerky. Like they're very much like dodging out of your way trying to avoid bullets, and with the mouse and a keyboard it's so much easier to just track them and keep fire on them the whole time as opposed to with a controller where they can sometimes get out of your view very quickly and like it's
it's kind of cool. I actually really have kind of fallen for its evil charms once again. So
and it looks fantastic.
I'm kind of back in it. Yeah, and then it looks.
It's a good looking game.
It looks crazy, fantastic, especially for a 2-year-old game. Speaking of games that are old, so Cubeworld came out this week, and oh boy! Actually, I can just preface this little bit of a rant, which I hopefully won't go on for too long. By just saying, read the Kotaku article that says that is titled "Cubeworld wasn't worth the wait." That's basically everything that I want to say about that game, 100%. But I'll just say it here now. So, Cubeworld is one of my favorite games that I've ever played in an alpha state, and it was wondrous. Like in the same way that like when I talk about Remnant, where it's just like a sense of like I don't know what's about to happen. Like anything can happen. Like we're just discovering new things and just like completely being wowed. Like wow, I don't know what's going on. This is cool, and it's not so much like that. It's like a novel way of doing anything because it's at its heart it's an action RPG game, a third person action RPG game with loot and stuff like that.
And voxels.
But yeah, it's in a voxel thing, and I don't know about. It was just when I first played it 6 years ago, because this game has been in kind of stasis for 6 years, and suddenly last month they're like, we're gonna release it, and then they did, and then people started playing the new version, and there seems to be a lot of problems. So the major differences, the highlights are there are no levels, so you don't get XP from killing monsters anymore. Which okay, fine, I'll go with you on that.
Quest-based progression, right? You're gonna get you get levels up based on quests, right, Dan?
No, you don't get no.
What?
No, you don't get levels from anything outside of getting artifacts.
No what? No level?
There's levels, but you only get it from getting artifacts, which is fine because whatever. Like I actually one of the things that I was originally upset about, or not upset, but critical about Destiny, it was very blatant that there was no real reason why there's levels in Destiny. Why do I have to get to level 30 to start getting light?
Right.
Which is what they did. They basically stripped out all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's actually, I mean, one of the cool things about Destiny is that there's actually no level restrictions for anything.
Nope.
You don't get anything that you can't use. There's nothing that drops in Destiny that says you can't use this.
Yeah.
Which is also a problem in Cubeworld because everything is based on gear and you constantly get things for other classes that you can't get. Anyway, no, so to level up in the game, which is actually not a big deal. Like there's I don't even know if there's really benefit from getting from level 1 to level 2. You have to find the artifact of that zone. And how you do that, you do a bunch of quests and then you kind of, I don't even know if you can figure it out on your own. It's just, you just kind of keep doing quests until you're just like, oh, I guess we found the artifact. And then the artifact bestows a permanent bonus to you. And we'll get back to that. So one of the other big changes is that whatever equipment you build or find in one zone, one region, when you go to another region, kind of like another biome, like in Minecraft, that armor is massively reduced in weapons are massively reduced in their effectiveness when you get outside of the zone that you got them in, which is really dumb. There's a reason why they kind of did that to kind of make it so that, hey, I'm in a different zone. My friend just started playing the game. He can join me, and like I'm not like completely crazy, and he is, and that can be a problem. But I don't know if that's the solution.
I don't know if that's
because that just kind of because the real loop, and I've been playing also Grim Dawn, off and on. But the real loop of those kind of games, the loot games,
yes.
Like Destiny,
yeah,
is that you look forward to like, oh man, I got this new thing now. Oh man, I'm really cool now.
Right. And
anytime a game takes stuff away from you, is I feel like not a very good design, unless it's like to try to, like I don't know, even if they're trying to be realistic or trying to like, but they don't take stuff away from you. Like Dark Souls doesn't take stuff away from you, other than XP.
Yeah,
it does take XP away from you.
The whole point of like the progression system is that you're supposed to feel progression. You're not supposed to feel regression at any point during.
Yeah, there's a reason why XP death and XP loss is kind of like, gone out of the. Yeah, like gone out of the.
The whole point is you want to feel powerful, like in those games. You want to get to a point where, like even in Destiny, like what we've been playing, like most of the mobs that we've been fighting have not been really difficult. Yeah. We're just getting used to the game and like its rhythms, so.
But another thing they took away in Cubeworld was that every time you leveled, you got skill points, and you can put them in different skills, and you can build up your character.
But that's all gone.
And it was kind of primitive. It's not like a really big thing. But there's not really any leveling, so that stuff is gone. So you're left with a game, right? That at its core, most action RPGs are not really that like sophisticated, right? That's why they have a million systems on top of that. At the end of the day, Path of Exile, one of my favorite action RPG games, like it's just you just click on dudes and then you press some numbers once in a while to activate some of the skills. There's not really a strategy or depth to it. There's not like a tactics. I mean, there's tactics in how you build your character.
Yeah, you get
That's
lots
the
of
whole
the skill
that's the
forest.
whole fun part of it. Building my character, getting cool gear, and how I set up my things, the synergies of those
That's
things.
the
That's the cool part,
yes.
right? But if you strip all of that away and then make it so that whenever you get to a new place, which, Sense of Wonder, that's the whole one of the key things that has always stuck with me in Cubeworld was playing it late at night, way past when I should be playing it, with like a couple of friends and all of us going like, oh man, I wonder what's over there. Let's go over there, right?
Isn't that what Remnant does? Like this year, like you've talked, I've heard people talk about that, right?
In some ways, but this is like a big open
Yeah,
world. You just keep on going, like let's just go over there. Those volcanoes, let's go over there. But it takes away that thing because when you go over there, now the shit that you got doesn't matter anymore, and I haven't even built my character, so I have no investment in any of this stuff. And it's really heartbreaking that this game has gotten to that point. But on the same token, there was a sliver of time this weekend when I played it for about 2 hours, where I got kind of that same sense of Cubeworld stuff when we started getting equipment and like getting built out and being like, oh shit, are we back? Are we back? And then I played it again the next day, and it was that hard reality, and then I got that artifact because we were like, oh fuck, we finally got the artifact.
Oh big
shit,
thing.
This is the big thing. We finally got the artifact of this region. We can get to the new region. Okay, cool. What does the artifact do for us? Light +1. What is that? What? When you turn on your lantern, your light is a little bit more.
The most powerful of artifacts.
That's not what I fucking wanted to.
You wanted a sword or a magic spell.
Dan just threw his phone.
It wasn't even evening at that. When I got that, it wasn't even
middle
dark.
of the day.
Dan's in his
so I had to wait to even use it.
Did you notice the light was bigger?
No, you can't fucking notice. It's like a small increment. It's not like suddenly I have like a big spotlight.
I've been waiting for it because you mentioned it in the Discord.
Yes.
And 2, I was listening to Waypoint last week. Austin Walker
He was very excited about it.
So he knew about that and he described what was going on. He wasn't so excited. He was kind of just
when he
like...
first talked about it, he was very
he was like, you got light, and he was like, it wasn't that much. Kind of your reaction without being upset. But then he was like, you get to a biome and everything, you're basically supposed to spec up again with new gear. And so when you started posting in Discord, I was like, oh, that's what that is. Yeah. And this is why people are mad. Yeah. That's what he said. He was like, yeah, people don't really like this very much.
Oh, dude, that game is taking a hammering. And, in a way, I also feel like I don't want to harp on the game too much. Like, I mean,
it's basically been developed by one guy.
Yeah, it's been developed by one guy, and who knows why he took off 6 years. I mean, I think
they talked about it.
I think if you dig, you can see some stuff, but like, I mean, he hasn't really been talking too much. I mean, after the negative reviews started coming out, he basically took down his Facebook and dev blog for
Poor guy.
Cubeworld. What I think though is that, like, I mean, this is also legitimate criticism.
Yeah.
There's fundamentally stuff there where that alpha was really good, and this is just not that game. And like at the end of the game, you're left with kind of nothing. And like, I feel for the guy because, I mean, who knows how much he spent working on it? Who knows what happened exactly in those 6 years that he kind of went quiet and stuff like that. So I hope he's in a good place and all that kind of stuff. I don't wish ill on him just because I don't like his game. But at the end of the day, it's a big disappointment. Unfortunately,
it's too bad. I mean, the thing is that, like, I've heard this is not an uncommon occurrence when games are in a state for an extended period of time. I know Darkest Dungeon kind of went through that during their early access phase, where they changed things dramatically and people got real mad.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they've told you up front, like, this is a game in development. Things are going to change.
I'll say the things that they changed in Cubeworld were not more than just like one of the things, the
Yeah.
healing thing, right?
Mhm.
I think in Darkest Dungeon, I
Yeah.
forgot what it was. It was like
I vaguely remember.
yeah,
that.
there was some how those rounds work and stuff. That's fine, but this would be like if Darkest Dungeon was just like yeah, but now you don't even actually go in the dungeon, and it's just like it's something completely different.
It seems like a different game than what was
yeah.
originally
The things that people liked in Darkest Dungeon was like, you know, that roguelike feel and like that it's hard and then it's got this dark atmosphere. And Cubeworld, the reason why people like that is because of the exploring, the action RPG-ness in a Minecraft voxel kind of way. And it was just like really bright and colorful. Like, man, when I first loaded up that game, because I redeemed my Steam key because I was a alpha
pre-original
way back in the day. When I first loaded up, I was just like, oh yeah, here we go. Like I was in a way that I'm normally not that guy with games.
Giddy with games.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is so bright and stuff. I'm just happy.
I'm curious if he went down that path with the idea of giving you that feeling again. So you found all this stuff in a biome.
Yeah,
you left the biome, and now you're starting. You do it again.
Yeah, I mean, like saying those things that like the things that I don't like about it, the negative thing. Like I see why.
Yeah.
I see why he wants those decisions were made.
Right.
Yeah. I just don't think that they're good decisions. They don't make the game
but,
fun.
But because Diablo does the same thing. Like Diablo 3 had you going from different world to different world throughout that quest.
Yeah, in some way, it's actually. I mean, in some way, the whole like now my armor is less, and like I have to keep building it up. I mean, in some way, that's just like getting into a new zone, right?
Yeah.
Now you're
under-leveled.
You're under-leveled,
right?
But it's more the fact that those things are now less, right? It's not so much that I went to a harder place; it's I went to a place that is the same level
as you were
but
describing
now
that's what I was thinking.
Away.
Why didn't he just go? You're in the next world now. It's level 10.
Scale, start
because
scaling.
It's not a concrete world, right?
Yeah.
It's a randomized world.
And that's what I was thinking as you were describing it. That's probably what kept
it's like it's the MMO design where you get to the cap and then they introduce a new expansion, and then all of your legendary gear that you had is trash because you go out and kill a new trash mob in the new area, and he drops equipment that's like instantly better.
Yeah, I mean, it might be psychological, right? Because like in that instance, your equipment didn't get worse.
No,
it's still good,
yes.
Right? But it's just in this new place, it's you need better stuff.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's more kind of like it's kind of hard to divorce your mind from like now my thing is worthless just because I moved over here.
That is. It's interesting
because I'm not fighting harder monsters.
It seems psychological, and it's too bad.
It is too bad.
That's too bad.
It's too bad.
I feel sad about the Chasm stuff because they just released a big patch today too, and added like a bunch of weird stuff, and I just don't have any desire to go back to it.
That's still around. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some game news.
I made one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick.
Do it.
I bought and started playing What the Golf today on the Epic Store.
Is it? So Epic. Close to getting Apple Arcade just to try that.
It's so good. What the Golf is so great.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really whimsical and
it's like a golf game, but not a golf.
Not a golf game. It's it's great. I like it.
It's like Mario. It's WarioWare of golf.
Yeah, it's super funny.
Basically,
I think one of the Bombcast guys said that.
Yeah, I
almost bought WarioWare Gold over the weekend
because I remember playing that at not this PAX but the PAX previous.
Oh, you did?
I played the game before.
I had not.
I remember specifically the Bombcast guys were very good about not spoiling some of the cameo stuff. And I remember playing that cameo stuff at that PAX, and I want to see what more they do with that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, cameo.
Yeah, word up, baby. That's what's going on. But yes, play What the Golf. It's really good. It is $20 on the Epic Store.
Ooh, I'm gonna get on Apple Arcade.
But yeah, so if you are cost conscious,
support your devs.
Apple Arcade.
So sorry.
But I supported my devs on Epic because I had been waiting for this
money
game.
either way.
Yeah.
Apple gave them money.
$5 a month. Baby.
Apple gave them money.
And you get hundreds of games.
Oh my
Chris is all about that value.
Play Sayonara Wild Hearts again.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about some game news.
There's game news?
Game news. Apparently, Gearbox lawsuit was dismissed. The guy who was their lawyer was their lawyer.
He was
or-
their in-house
counsel.
counsel,
Yeah.
and then they split him
then
and Randy.
He sued him. He sued
Yes.
Gearbox because
Well, I mean, he said there were a lot of things, but the big story was the Randy Pitchford's USB drive left at a local restaurant, which, if I remember correctly, was a Medieval Times that they mentioned,
Yeah.
that had not only top secret documentation on it,
Yeah.
but also what was alleged to be underage pornography. However, Randy Pitchford told the story on a podcast where it was not underage pornography, but barely legal pornography.
It was an 18-year-old magician.
Yes, she did a magic trick.
Oh my
it was
god.
about magic.
And he
the
was enraptured by
$12
it.
million
no, but why
she
what
pocketed.
was the lawsuit about?
It's just like gross. I think it was just a fire without or release without cause. It was basically trying to get money. But the thing is that it was dismissed on both sides.
Yeah.
Saying we don't have anything. There's no problem here because we don't have any problems with each other. And when I read that, I was like, you both got so much dirt on each other because they're apparently childhood friends. Like they've known
40
each other
years, they said they've known
for a
each other.
long ass
They
time.
realized this is not.
They realized that the dirt's gonna come out if
Yeah.
we start talking about this in
It
public.
has to come out because
Yeah.
you have
Yeah,
to
I think
disclose
yes.
all that
The
stuff.
phrasing was the two sides misunderstood one another, and
Uh-huh.
those misunderstandings were clarified.
Yes.
And then
Fair enough.
Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
lawsuit was dismissed.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Wayne looked at Randy. Randy looked at Wayne and went, "We don't want this to get out."
Yeah, what a crazy place Gearbox is.
Yeah.
Oh man,
With
but what
the mention of Troy Baker with the yeah.
Because he's
Yeah.
Troy Baker,
Yeah.
a voice actor, is SAG-AFTRA, if I'm not mistaken, and he did not get to voice his character in Borderlands 3 because Gearbox did not want to use union workers.
they said
That-
that
those
he turned
union
it
workers.
down, and then
Yeah, then it becomes
Yeah.
like a weird semantics, but yeah, kind of like Fallout 76. It seems like there's always like something about Borderlands 3, which none of us are playing, so don't really have an opinion.
but
about
apparently is doing pretty
Oh,
well
yeah, it's
from
doing
it's crazy.
it's
Like,
doing
3
gangbusters.
million people.
yeah,
it.
like
Yeah, it's doing gangbusters.
Yeah.
on the Epic Store of all
Yeah,
places.
right.
Huh?
Yeah, you don't hear people complaining about it all of a sudden. I don't. Why do you think that is? Why wouldn't they be complaining about it, an Epic Store
Because
exclusive?
the people who were complaining weren't gonna buy it.
Or they pirated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing I see in my toy forums and Discord stuff.
Oh, the
with my
complainers
figures.
are the ones who
The
don't
people
buy.
who are like, "Oh, that's a shit figure," like blah blah blah. It's like, oh, but then whenever it comes to a pre-order where it's just like, "Oh, this is what I've been waiting for," and it comes out, it's like, "Oh, maybe I'll wait for it." When
Yes.
when
The
it
car guys.
when it gets to a peg warmer.
Car guys all pretend that they want brown wagons with 6-speed transmissions.
Yeah,
And
then
then they
when-
release it, and nobody buys it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Dan used a term there that I don't understand. Dan, what is a peg warmer?
Peg warmer is basically any toy that just sits on a peg in the store forever and nobody buys it.
So
like all of those Ant-Man and Wasp figures, whenever you go to Target and they're just there, those are peg warmers.
or the the Captain Marvel figures. Some of them.
Basically, everybody is saying that. Well, the people who are not gonna buy stuff, they usually say like, "Oh, this is just gonna be peg warmers. I'll just get it when it's on sale," and then it becomes like Marvel Legends Rogue figure where nobody has it, and now it's worth like $200,
Yeah.
and then everybody goes like, "Oh, fucking scalpers! They just let collectors actually
Yeah.
do it." It's just like you could have just bought it then.
Enthusiasts are the worst, is basically what we're saying.
I wanted to buy the turtle figures, but they never gave me an opportunity. So
That's different.
yeah, I know.
You were
That's-
actually trying to get it.
I know.
It's just too popular.
Yeah.
Turtles are just way too popular.
I own a 6-speed wagon, by the way, just so that we're all clear.
I believe you.
You do your own car work too, Chris.
I do.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of games really quickly. Flight Simulator. There's been some stuff coming out about it and various online stuff. PC Gamer has a good write-up and video of it, a good 10-minute video. Apparently, Microsoft had some industry people come and play the game earlier in September. So there's been some details leaking out about that, and it looks fucking fantastic.
You excited to fly a Cessna from Seattle to Alaska, Dan?
Yeah. I'll get my seaplane
Oh.
like I did. I did that once.
You gonna
in
fly in Lake
Flight
Washington? You
Simulator,
gonna land it?
Whichever one that wasn't.
Spruce
X.
Goose, or I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about it is that it uses Bing map data to fill in the world, and from up above it looks pretty crazy.
What the fuck is Bing?
Yeah, I don't know either.
I know
It's
what
the thing
Bing
that
is.
you can use it enough, and sometimes you get $2.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes
Yes.
I get points.
You can also redeem those points for Game Pass or Microsoft Xbox Live
Hey,
subscriptions.
pro tip: search
tip.
on Bing.
Search on Bing. You can
You
do
won't
it
find
real
what
easy.
you're looking for, but you'll get some points.
They also have quests. It's all part of the
Oh,
Microsoft
baby.
Rewards app.
Woo.
There's an app on the console now that you can get points for doing quests
Oh, don't tell me
by
that.
playing games, Chris.
Oh,
All right,
boy.
and also, Disco Elysium had a new trailer this week, and it's a game that I've been looking forward to forever. But we'll talk more about that when it actually gets released. I think next week.
Every time I watch something on that, I'm more and more intrigued by that fucking game.
So
It's pretty cool. So the thing that they're talking about this week in the trailer, the YouTube Disco Elysium, is their memory system. So basically, you like the dialogue is almost. I mean, I won't say that it's like a turn-based combat kind of thing because it's not. But there's a system in it. So like if you unlock certain kind of memories, then you can kind of speak to that kind of thing. So if you have certain kind of like experiences that you can remember, you can use that information as kind of like almost like a perk, like unlocking a perk like in a dialogue heavy game, and then you can use that thing. Another thing that's really cool is that there's various times when somebody's asking you something, and then you start arguing with yourself in your mind, and now you're playing the dialogue game with your mind and trying to convince it or failing at convincing it, and then that can open up different dialogue options. Just seems really cool, and kind of been waiting for it for a long time, and I really want to see what the end result of it is.
one other game that I'm super interested in that I didn't know about until like this week from Rock Paper Shotgun was that Encased game. I don't know if you heard about this, but
Nope.
they basically call it a spiritual successor to the old Fallout games. It's a post-apocalyptic like turn-based RPG.
Isometric.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, and like I saw one person write about it on Rock Paper Shotgun. And they're like, maybe not so sure. But then there was another article that just came today that said like this is an early access game worth playing now. So
Cool.
I am now intrigued and very excited to go buy an early access turn-based RPG. Talk about Fallout.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the news this week from PS Now, not PS Plus, PS Now, the streaming service, is now $10 a month, and it is $60 per year, which is actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And you can get God of War, GTA 5, Uncharted 4. I think The Last of Us
Remastered
is on
the
that.
Second Son got added.
So yeah, it seems like a pretty good deal. I've heard pretty good things about it, at least from personal friends. Because you can play that on a PC.
Yeah.
So you can play your PlayStation games on a PC. So I've heard fairly okay.
And you can also download the games now. They did add that in at one point.
Yeah. So
they're
can
not all
download the
streaming
games.
anymore.
So it's that seems actually like a pretty good service.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have Xbox, so Xbox Ultimate is an option, and if you want to be more pro gamer than Apple Arcade, I mean, $5 a month. If you buy the year's pass and $60.
Yeah.
God of War is
impressive.
worth it alone just to
everybody
subscribe
is,
and play that.
Everybody is circling the wagons
Yes.
for the upcoming future
Services
wars.
are the new
For the future war.
the new thing
That's
for
right.
everybody. So
Chris, what do you want to talk about? Super Dunk Shot. Really
I found an article that
Yes.
talked about Super Dunk Shot, which is a game I
Yes.
did not know existed,
Yes.
and it was an NCAA basketball game in the U.S. that then got released in Japan, and they replaced all of the NCAA teams with fake NBA teams.
yeah.
So, of course, hometown
Okay.
Man, that
Seattle
NC
Super Jets.
That NCAA basketball game was rad at the time, but man, that game sucked also.
the one that had the Mode 7.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
And you're playing basically in space.
Ooh.
You're playing in this like blue space.
That's
Like
a bad game.
yeah, it's not a good basketball game, but like man, playing it at the time, it felt revolutionary. It was one of those things where it's like I'll suffer through a bad basketball game because there's better basketball games. Actually, I don't know.
No, there was Beer Love,
'Cause
Beer's
I don't
Combat
think-
Basketball.
Yeah, because I don't
and
think
there's
NBA Live
NCAA.
wasn't there yet.
No.
Tecmo Super NBA Basketball wasn't there yet, so there was not too many basketball games.
NBA
there.
Jam was the game you wanted to play as a basketball game.
But even then, I don't know if that was on Super Nintendo at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because NCAA basketball was pretty
Was it
early.
94 or
It was
92?
Pretty early. It was when Georgetown was still cool.
The Hoyas, baby.
Yeah, those guys know way more than I do about basketball games in the early 90s. I just love the fucking logos.
Yeah.
The
The
Chicago
logos are pretty.
Bills,
I
Chicago
want
Bills.
that. I want
the Tallahassee Suns.
I want the
with an
Super
O.
Jets, man.
For
I
whatever
want
yeah.
for whatever reason, the Sacramento Bears.
The Bears, yeah.
because the logo for the California flag, Dan, is a bear.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's a
capital.
capital. I was
Yeah.
just like, I mean, but it's Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
so
they
why
could have
don't
gone
they just-
Monarchs or something, but they went Bears.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
Yeah,
I
that's
literally
good.
just realized
Good
that
job.
now. So,
Good
But
job, Ash Ketchum.
Number 40, your Seattle Superjets.
oh my god,
Kemper. And I was like,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
look
I
out
definitely
for
had to-
look out for a Unique Drops line of Super Jets branded
oh
merchandise.
my god.
It might happen.
Oh,
Give
I
me
know
more
it.
money.
All right, let's switch some gears. John, let's check in on your digitizing your physical movie library.
So
How-
I
how
have
is that?
What percentage have you completed?
Yeah,
I'm close to 50% at this point with all my Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I had to do a little tweaking here and there. One of the things I learned this week is
I feel like you're harvesting Bitcoin over there because you're just like, I got to leave it running overnight. It's going
So,
to turn on automatically.
I
I'm
haven't
just
even-
like,
He'd
what?
be making money at that point.
So I have-
I'm like, what?
so when I first started out, I was doing encoding as well as ripping at
Yeah.
the same time,
right.
and that was taking longer for both because it's taking resources. So now my process is rip everything during the day,
Rip.
and then at the night, when I'm ready to go to bed, I can queue up everything I want to encode in Handbrake, and then let it run. And you can tell Handbrake that once it's done, to put the computer to sleep.
Speaking of queues, are you somebody who stands online or inline?
Inline.
What?
Yeah, this is important.
If I'm standing physically in a queue?
Because I stand
Are
in
you
line. I
online
don't stand
or
in
It's
queue.
inline. No.
And I
Agreed.
don't stand in
People
a
say
queue.
online.
I stand in line.
It's a thing. People say online.
I'm not British. I don't say queue.
Yeah, that
It's a
feels like
line.
something a Brit would say. It's like, I stand online, Zed.
Yes.
Listen.
Zed. It's Herb.
In
There's
it.
an H in it.
In it.
H.
Yeah.
My boss still says HDMI because he's Australian.
Oh.
But
Sorry, John.
Good.
So
okay.
you queue it all up at
Sleeping
night.
policeman.
It's processing while Dan's playing his games and
Yeah.
you're asleep.
Dan doesn't need the. He can handle the computer.
Dude, your
being on
computer
warm.
turns on at night anyway if you don't have that thing encoding. Sometimes I'll just be
When you-
sitting there and the thing will go, what? And I'm like, what are you doing?
Cylons.
That's because it's looking for the good pornography.
And then sometimes I
Good
bump the
porno.
desk by accident.
You
and it goes,
bump the
what?
desk. That's why it does it. 'cause
No,
the mouse
no,
is-
it's also happened where I'm just
Uh-huh.
like sitting there and I'm just like, what? Yeah, you can ask Bryce because every
I
so
believe
often
you.
I'm just like, what is going on?
believe
What's happening right
I
now?
want you to stream with your camera on.
I
and
do
just all
wanna
of a sudden
see that,
the
yeah.
room just.
Well, when
Oh,
it happens,
well,
the lights come from the monitors.
I mean,
I'm sure,
earlier
yeah.
this week, fucking Alexa, the Amazon lady,
Uh-huh.
fucking started singing. And I don't know why. I don't know
What
if
was
it's
she
because
singing, Dan?
I don't know. It was like some music was going on, and like I don't know if it was because Ikora, one of the Destiny characters, is
Mhm.
kind of similar to that name, and I
Uh-huh,
said it out
uh-huh.
loud. But suddenly there was music, and I was just like, "Why is there music?
Am I going crazy?
Why is that just somebody outside that has music on?" And then Bryce is like, "Dan, what's going on?" And I'm just like, "You hear that music, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on." I'm just like, "What's going on in this music?" I thought somebody broke in and just started jamming out and was hiding from me at the same time. That would be crazy.
So a couple
Anyway.
additional details about the process
Okay.
is that I bought the Plex server.
Mhm,
Plex is nice because it allows you to pay a lifetime fee,
mhm.
so you don't have to do monthly. And also, I had initially uploaded everything onto there, but I started doing research, and the way it uploaded the TV shows didn't look right, so I started doing research, and I ended up buying a program called FileBot.
Yes.
Have you heard of Filebot?
Yeah, you're in the deep hole.
Oh yeah, see now
Just
Chris
keep on
knows I'm in
going.
the deep
Just
hole.
keep on going,
So
baby.
are we doing 1U or 2U rack server here now?
No servers.
Are we-
Just keep on going.
So the
just
plan
wait.
is once I'm done
Rack
is to
server. I
take
see a corner over there.
no.
Fit a lot of servers in there.
The plan is to take the drive that's hooked up to that computer there and take it and plug it into that computer because that thing can stay on all night. And that thing is quiet, very quiet compared to the...
Ninjonvideo.com.
Yeah.
Ninjon Video.
Dan has tested the Plex server.
Oh,
Said
yeah,
it worked
works.
fine.
It works very good.
Yeah. But the thing about Filebot is I had to use it for the TV shows because what it does...
It's like Netflix, but movies I want to watch.
It pulls
Exactly.
All the stuff in.
It's like good stuff because I have taste and culture with my movies.
And they're all
You don't have
legally
Step Brothers on there.
sourced.
Do you even have Step Brothers?
I don't know.
I've
if
been
I
wanting
own
to
Step
watch
Brothers.
that this
Okay.
week.
Are we best friends?
Well, I need to
I
pick up
think so.
Spider-Man Far From Home because that just came out on Blu-ray disc as well.
But
So, Filebot, sorry,
yeah,
didn't mean
go
to
ahead,
interrupt
go
you.
ahead, go ahead.
Filebot lets you take a folder full of files, and it will scrape a database, like
Mhm.
in this case, the TV database that they have linked, and you'll tell you as long as you name your files in the format that it knows, it'll go, hey, these are these episodes, and then it'll show you like this is the episode title and this is the nomenclature, and you click rename, and it renames all the files in that folder to what you want it to be named.
Cool.
And then when you upload that to Plex goes, hey, we know exactly what these are.
Huh.
Now we pull all the metadata for the episodes.
Mhm.
Now it's all
Yep.
beautiful.
Nerd.
But yes, it's been a very like Zen-like project. Like it's something to focus my mind on that I'm happy I'm accomplishing something. Because this is something I've just wanted to have
Then
for
you
a
can
long
start
time.
streaming to your phone and watching on the go. And
That's what the server was
Yep,
for, man.
like
It was
the
a
server.
lifetime fee. Chris, I'll give you access at some point. You
Yep.
can catch up on all your
ninjonvideo.com.
You can
Watch
watch
all the Star Wars.
Star Wars movies.
I've never seen one. What is the Star Wars?
Speaking of Star
It is
Wars,
a
Dan,
Star Wars. It's like Star Trek, but cool.
Oh,
it's like Star Trek, but
yeah,
there's
I'm
more.
gonna get messy.
Yeah.
There's more murder
Yeah,
and
wow.
and
It's like
less
Star
politics.
Trek, but not for snowflakes.
Oh my God,
I'm sorry.
this is happening.
I like Star
Speaking
Trek.
of Star Wars,
I just like Star Wars more. Yeah, really
He's
quick,
a bad
really
person.
quickly, because we're
we're going long.
we're going long.
It's been an hour.
Star Wars. Yeah,
true.
but we have like things to talk about after this.
Oh no.
But yeah, Star Wars. I watched all the lightsaber fight scenes in each of the Star Wars movies that are released so far.
Was it like a YouTube super mix?
No, just through the Plex server. I was just
Oh.
skipping around.
I see.
With movies that I've already watched, I don't know if you know this, but I watch movies like sometimes like by skipping around to just
Mhm.
stuff I like.
I was doing that with the X-Men
I watched
movies.
I watched Goodfellas once in like 30 minutes because I'm like, I remember what happens here. I'm just gonna go to the really cool part where they stab a dude in the car.
Like I watched the whole Quicksilver
You
sequence
know, cool parts.
from X-Men Apocalypse
Yeah.
because that sequence is awesome.
But I wanted to look at all the Star Wars lightsaber fight scenes because John mentioned how bad the Attack of the Clones saber
Oh.
fight scene between Count Dooku and
Revisiting.
and Anakin in the dark was. I remember, full disclosure, I remember kind of liking that in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
But over the years, it's gotten worse.
Yes.
And also because they could have done so much more with it. But essentially, it goes down to old man and a young guy dancing in like a disco.
in a light stick rave.
Yeah, because you don't actually see their hands and or lightsabers. I get what they were doing. Anyway, so my quick survey of lightsaber fight scenes and
You have rankings?
a good what is this? A good summation of why those prequels are bad is because the lightsaber fight scenes that happen primarily, mostly in the original trilogy, each of them have like a purpose and some kind of emotion behind them, whereas most of the lightsaber fight scenes that happen in the prequels just kind of happen.
Most, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why people love that Darth Maul Obi-Wan Qui-Gon fight is because there was actual emotion behind that.
And also, nobody was talking.
And there was no talking. There was a lot of wide shots, and actually not as much flipping as I remember. And the cool thing about that you see from the original trilogy, which I like what the new trilogy is doing, is that a lot of the attacks are more grounded and it doesn't seem like they're dancing. So especially when you get into episode 2 and 3, especially when Obi-Wan and that too, but Obi-Wan and Anakin, when they first start fighting, they're telegraphing their moves and they're basically dancing together. Like they're just dancing. They're not actually fighting. And the best lightsaber fight scene is not a controversial hot take opinion, is Luke and Vader in Empire. Like that's
I personally have a very soft spot for Jedi, so I know that like the Empire one's very good because it has the Luke's father thing, but the Jedi one is my personal favorite. So
yeah, no, it's not even because of that. It's because of how it starts. And the camera angles that are being used and the color that is being used, like especially when they're in the carbonite room, like the different colors,
the warm tones in that room is
and
really
also
cool.
what's cool about that is that I was thinking about this today, is that so like that whole last part of Empire is actually probably the best part the best cinematic stuff that Star Wars does, from Luke deciding that he's gonna go in spite of like the Jedi saying like, Yoda and Obi-Wan saying like, don't go, like you
finish your training,
blah blah blah, and he's like, but they're my friends, and it's like the moral conundrum of the Jedi, trying to be passive and outside of it, but at the same time I have the ability to actually interject myself.
Dan, we live in a society.
But I have the power and the ability to interject myself and actually help people. But whether or not that intervention actually hurts stuff, military intervention, foreign affairs, those kind of things, whether or not that actually hurts things, that's the moral conundrum of the Jedi, which is what that prequel could have done, but we're beyond that.
But you see, Dan, we're peacekeepers. We're not soldiers.
Yeah. That would be so great if they actually really.
Yeah, the UN totally works that way.
But what's cool about Empire, the Empire lightsaber fight scene, is because there is this feeling of dread when you go there, because you know Vader's there, it's a trap, those kind of things. But it actually starts off, Luke actually is holding his own, if not actually kind of pushing Vader back a lot. Like that, I was actually surprised that there is a lot of points where Vader is actually kind of backing off. And there's, he says that line, impressive, most impressive, and he's jumping around. But as it goes on, you can see that Vader asserts himself in that fight, and he becomes almost this like monster, like a horror film, and he stalks Luke.
But do you think that's also because in the initial parts of the fight, he was definitely like, it's like, I'm going to take this kid gloves. Like, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to injure him in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
but then as he realized how serious Luke is about it, he's like, all right, I got to actually...
I think it's some of those things. I think it's also, he knows who he is.
Yeah.
So he wants to know, like, hey, are you... And when he says impressive, like, he's actually saying that to his son.
Oh, yeah.
At that point. I think some of it is also, like, a subversion of expectation in kind of a subtle way, where... you're like, oh man, you're gonna get fucked up, Luke. That's Darth Vader. He's fucking the baddest motherfucker in the whole galaxy. He chokes bitches and stuff like that. And then when it first starts, it's like, oh yeah, he can do it. We're the hero. We got this. Luke, I'm with you 100%. You're the hero of this story. Like, fucking yeah, we're gonna eke this out just like you blew up the Death Star, everything. And then it starts slamming into that cold reality where it's like, no, son, this is not gonna happen. This is not gonna turn out the way you think it's gonna turn out.
Because Vader stops playing, and
there's a great scene it's my favorite fucking shot in all of Star Wars, where Luke is walking down a hallway and they zoom up close to it. The camera's far away, but the zoom is close, right? So everything is all the features are compacted, so it's not like the depth of field is very narrow. And then Darth Vader comes out from the side of a wall and just like slashes down at Luke, and he kind of like freaks out. And how that angle and how it's like composed, because it's zoomed all the way in, Darth Vader looks like he's 8 feet tall, and he's so large on top of Luke Skywalker.
Well, then there's also the scene like near the end of that fight, right before Luke loses his hand, where Luke's starting to like, he gets that good shot in on Vader, and then you see like the way Vader's demeanor changes
Oh yeah,
After
now
he
it's
gets
serious.
hit, he's like, all right, this is happening now.
But even right before that, when Luke goes outside,
Mhm.
the window breaks open.
Yep.
I always think it's funny because it looks like Vader's actually surprised that all the air is getting sucked out. It's like, oh fuck. But
oh no.
anyway, but he gets sucked out, and Luke is actually outside, and this is, there's that cocky, sure guy way in the beginning of the fight, probably 5 minutes ago. Like, and also this is one of the few lightsaber fight scenes that's not interrupted by anything else.
Yeah,
there's not much else going on. Like, I don't think they even intercut with the other stuff.
I forget if they.
I
no,
forget.
They cut between the Leia Lando stuff during that. I think a little bit
I think so. Yeah,
when they're
you might
fleeing.
be right.
So,
But like, so there's a part where he's standing outside in the big, like, whatever that thing is supposed to be, the big cavern thing. And he's standing outside, and he's actually hiding.
Mhm.
He's not that. He begins the fight with his hands on his hips in the hero pose, and
Oh,
he's
and
just
then,
like, "Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go down like blah blah blah," and he's hiding.
Yeah.
At that.
well, there's
that point.
I mean, fuck. You're talking about the horror stuff. There's the point in the fight where Vader like is up above on the staircase and fucking flies down
Oh, yeah.
towards Luke. That's like
Yeah.
terrifying. But Vader doesn't move much in these.
Oh yeah,
fights.
he doesn't need to. Well,
No.
he can't.
He
'cause
can't.
The suit is
Right.
what the suit is, but I mean, and the last thing I'll say, it has the coolest lightsaber draw in all of the saga, because Luke goes pink like really quick, and he's like, haha, gotcha, I'm ready. And then Darth, and he's all just black silhouetted, so you can't really see. And then the thing comes, his red lightsaber
blade.
comes out super slow. It's like, wow. And it's like, holy shit, you are so fucked right now, Luke. Anyway,
That's
but
why
yes.
the end of like the last sequence in Rogue One was so good. Like when they see
Vader.
when
How
you see
he's,
Vader, like you think
that's
that's how
super
you've always
terrifying.
wanted him to be in a movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he was always terrifying before.
But this
like,
is-
I mean, it's modern sensibilities, right?
but this is like Vader, like not just using the Force to choke a guy like lightly.
just decimate everything.
yeah, this is him just wrecking house, and if he could have basically walked through an entire ship like that.
Yeah. I mean, and then the Return of the Jedi fight scene is, I mean, like it has. If that's one, that has to be two. Like, there's no
the
those
scenes
two.
where
Those two are like the best.
the scene where Luke's hiding and like Vader is just chiding in the whole
and then
time.
you see the anger
Mhm.
taking over and all that stuff. Like, there's nothing holds a candle to those two. Like,
I really the Force Awakens one is close to those for me. Just if
Yeah.
only for the specific moment when you see Rey like become completely calm.
oh yeah, cool.
Like that is like what I've always imagined like the Jedi's doing when they start a fight, is like finding that perfect Zen point where they are completely in their center, and then they're able to pretty much accomplish anything. That's how I've always pictured the Jedi to be. Is when they are fully in that like special moments, like where they can find that center, that's when they are unstoppable. Like when it comes to fighting like the Sith. So that's me talking about lightsabers.
But those prequels are bad.
Oh god.
Okay, no, for sure.
Those prequels don't.
But you gotta watch them, Chris.
all right, anime. We got Food Wars coming out next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Shokugeki no Soma.
What is Food Wars? Is that like? I mean, is it Flavor Town?
Ooh.
Do they live in Flavor Town?
Donkey sauce.
No,
Are they all chefs that are trying to outdo each other?
it's Chef High School. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
boy.
all the kids.
Do they have special moves?
Not so much special moves.
Like,
but
it's
they
like, oh my God.
like they have to battle each other, so it becomes Kitchen
So
Stadium.
it's Battle Chef Brigade.
That actually sounds
The
pretty
anime.
awesome.
It is fucking awesome. Everyone should fucking watch that show. It's so fucking good. Season 4 is starting October 11th.
Season 4.
Right? So you have a lot to
I
catch
can't
up
get. I
on.
can't
Chris,
get into
Chris,
some.
do the students all have specialty cuisines?
Yeah. Like the main character that you follow, he grew up. His dad taught him how to cook, and he grew up in like a family diner kind of thing.
Oh yeah, he's the common man.
So he makes
Well,
common food.
So the coolest part about this kid is he always battles his dad like on a daily basis to try to beat him at his cooking, but his way of training is to make the worst shit ever.
What?
So he'll do like barbecued peanut butter squid, like is one of the things he makes, is because he wants to know what would make squid good that you don't expect.
Yeah.
Because he's done so many battles with his dad that he already knows what makes good normal.
So his dad is actually like one present and also two positive.
No, because he shits on him all the time. He's just like,
Oh.
because I think he's lost like 500 battles in a row.
So he's Endeavor.
yeah.
Oh, but he's not. I mean, but is he a dick? Like,
I
mean, he
no,
can
he's
be.
not a total dick.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. He's
just like I
mean,
your
the
ass.
the usual anime thing is that the dad is either not present and turns out to be the villain at the end, or two, he's just an asshole.
No, he's pretty chill.
He's got flaming eyebrows
but-
and he
but-
hates his
but-
kid.
Yeah.
Then one day he's just like, "Oh hey, I'm closing the diner and I'm leaving. You're going to high school." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Here," and he gives him the thing to go to high school. And he's just like, "What is this high school?" So he goes into this not knowing anything. It's
He's
really
Harry
fun.
Potter of the
Because he's your
culinary world.
surrogate. That's most of the animes.
It's super good.
They have somebody who's. I mean, it's the Harry Potter thing,
But yeah, so it's My Hero
Anime does-
Academia for cooking.
which is also coming out next week. It starts its
The 12th.
season 4
So
on
excited.
the day afterwards. Who knows what's going to happen?
Our sweet boy.
the manga readers know, but the movie is also out. I saw it actually on YouTube and I think Amazon
Oh, cool.
or rent. Two Heroes or whatever. I will say, as seeing that movie last year in the theater, that movie is worth a watch if you are a fan and you want more. It doesn't really matter in the whole sense of the word.
It's a side story.
It is completely side story. It is fun though, and there is animation sequence at the end that is pretty fucking radical. Like they put all of the budget into like about a minute 30. Kind of like those Naruto fight scenes where it's just like, oh, here it is. This is
It's
where all
happening!
the frames are here.
This is why I'm
It was
here.
like that. It was
Also
like
the,
watching Genlock, and we see some of those fight sequences.
Yeah,
and, go,
and then the
"Oh."
beginning also is takes place in California, USA. And it looks like Las Vegas. That's the name. They don't say a city. I think they think that the city is in California.
California, USA.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool, and I guess we're gonna have anime showdown. I mean,
Anime.
Okay, some other news. I guess the Surface Duo Neo folding Android phone tablet has come out.
No.
It comes out next
I mean,
year.
not come out, but has been
Announced.
revealed.
Yeah.
I from I haven't been looking specifically. I've been very busy. But it seems like the reaction has been completely favorable. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this. Panos, who is the guy who presented most of the Surface stuff, who I think heads up that division, is no Phil Spencer. That was a very dry presentation.
Yeah.
People were excited, and there were people clapping and going woo. But man, that was some boring ass presentation.
Did you go woo?
Yeah. Microsoft's take on the dual screen tablet and phone.
It's just basically two
It's-
phones.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can fold it in or fold it out. It uses a
It looks-
skinned version of Android, so Microsoft has finally put its eggs in a basket, and they've decided
For the phone.
should
is,
be.
Is
Android.
there a new cool Surface that I would want to
Yeah,
replace
they're
my old
moving.
Surface?
They're moving to AMD chips.
They're offering both, I believe. They're offering AMD and in their Surface line.
I didn't think they were doing Intel anymore. Maybe I misread that.
Oh,
but
maybe graphics chips, I think, are AMD.
no.
No? Oh,
Yeah.
I was reading. I thought they thought they were still offering both, but
I think they're moving away from them. They're still on sale.
okay.
I'll read it again. But
Yeah, I could have
yeah,
sworn it was.
they're going to AMD chips and AMD graphics.
So do I want to upgrade my 2-year-old Surface Pro?
That new Pro
I don't
looks
know.
really nice. The bezel, it's like it's even thinner than your Surface.
I don't know that you're gonna get much more performance than you're getting now, because it's not like you're doing heavy
Heavy
work on
lifting.
your PC to begin with. If you feel like you need to upgrade, then upgrade. Sure,
So
I'll buy
what's-
your old one. Let me know.
What's the benefit of having two Surface screens?
Oh, one
Can
you
I
can
play
treat.
Kirby's Rainbow Adventure in a really cool way?
Yeah, sure.
I can have two screens.
No,
That
sorry.
was a DS.
Yeah.
so
I really like the keyboard that
Yeah.
they showed, the way it attached to
Yeah,
it,
they do a
and the way it.
Did they take out the fuzzy Alcantara stuff? Because that's what I heard that they're not.
You can
they're not
choose.
using. Oh, you can still have it.
Yeah.
Because mine isn't fuzzy.
No.
No, but you know
That was one of the rumors that they're not going to offer that anymore because apparently those things get gross.
I've seen some at work because everybody's working with their own Surface Pros and they were given those, and yeah, they get
I only
pretty grody.
I only didn't buy it because I'm cheap. So
More people at my work are using the Surface Books than they are using the Surface laptops.
I have like a 50-50 mix, I see, but yeah, the book is, I think, the better option for
It's nice.
professionals who need a laptop and want a Surface. But
cool Surface stuff.
Holiday 2020, I believe, is for both of those.
and it's a weird format, the 3x2 weird square shape. It looks big. I don't know. The pocketability is a little bit in question.
There was a brief shot of
is that an industry term? Pocketability.
It is now, baby. It's on a podcast. This is a thing.
There was a brief shot of somebody playing, or it might have been a render of the consoles or the xCloud streaming service on there. So somebody was using the bottom screen as the controller, and the top screen was in Like, it reminds me of the old Sidekick style phone where you'd have the bottom portion be your handheld portion, and the top part's where you watch everything.
Oh, and to John's point, when you do in laptop mode, so you have both screens, one's laying flat, one's angled up, you put the keyboard on top of the lower screen, you can type, and then the part of the screen that's still exposed becomes like a control bar. Like on the iMac.
It was slick.
Pro.
So they had the emojis and stuff, but there was another shot where they moved it up, the keyboard up to the top part, and the bottom part became a touchpad.
Yeah, that. So it seems they're using a bunch of magnets to make it modular.
So it's like a Super Nintendo DS.
Yeah, kind of. That's not too far off. It's intriguing. I don't know. Those hinges don't look super robust. I don't know. How strong it is. We'll see. It's a year away. We have a long way to go. Microsoft has a long way to go development.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the next couple iterations probably be a lot better. Because my Surface Pro has been superb.
I'm still on the first gen, so they make good stuff.
My Surface Book is a rock. That thing is great. So.
And lastly, mention some little bit of toy news. Stan Lee figure was announced 3 years in the making.
So
dope. He looks really cool. He is on pre-order right now from Target. They also announced a new Fantastic Four lineup with some updated costumes, I believe, on the current comic. They also
surprised they're doing a current comic because they went away for a while.
They also revealed a brand new sculpt of the She-Hulk, which looks really cool, and I'm definitely going to pick that up.
Nice. And
Doom is coming along, so he was actually like physically at New York Comic Con. He wasn't just a glamour shot. Figure Arts is releasing a
giant 8 Vegeta.
Giant 8 Vegeta.
He looked big.
Yeah,
there's not another version of Vegeta as an ape.
But I mean, I wasn't sure if it was if they were going to keep it like.
Yeah, that was actually the common concern on the toy Discord was how big is he? Because without any reference, it just is he just the regular size?
But then they showed it in the case, and you're like, oh, he big.
Yeah.
So, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then throughout this weekend, there's going to be more stuff from New York Comic Con, most likely.
I loved seeing all the Dragon Ball figures together and the DBZ figures in the cases.
And tomorrow I am going to hopefully procure some Star Wars stuff if I don't just order it online and be super lazy.
Triple Force Friday.
And just play Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
Because the one that I really wanted to get, the Purge Trooper, is not out until November, which I thought it was going to be out tomorrow.
The Second Sister is going to be out tomorrow, right?
All the other stuff is going to be out tomorrow. Janna is not out tomorrow. The lady with the crossbow and stuff.
The Gina Carano character from The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Cara Dune is out.
No, that's her. That's
the
other girl is the one from Rise of Skywalker.
All right. And that is a podcast. Next week, moved our discussion about MLB Showdown into next week. Maybe we'll even do a video about that.
Whoa.
Since you still have your cards. I don't know where my cards are.
I need to find them.
Yeah. Fantastic trading card game that went away
Teaser.
went away too long ago. But as always, I thank you, my compatriots.
Gracias.
John, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to talk about stuff.
Chris.
Dan.
It's been good.
It's been good.
Was
It's been good.
Was it better than last time?
Yeah, it was.
We were adversarial.
You were on something.
I'm just gonna go down the middle and just say we're both at fault.
You got to listen to both sides of the argument.
Both sides. Oh, John comes in with both sides.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Damn right I do.
Fuck.
I'd like to wish everybody a mabuhay from uniquedrops.com. Ask for it by name. This has been your weekly discourse.